Hello students, today we are going to discuss torque on bar magnet in uniform magnetic field. Okay. So first of all, we have to draw a uniform magnetic field. A uniform magnetic field means the field strength is same and the direction is all same in all points. Okay. That means this is the uniform magnetic field. Now I am going to show a bar magnet having a theta angle with this uniform magnetic field. Okay, this is the bar magnet. Okay, this is our north pole and this is our south pole. Now if we draw perpendicular line from N, okay, and from S we draw also a line, then these lines intersect at a point A. Okay, at a point A. That means we can say that this is a right angle triangle. This is a right angle triangle A, S and N, and the length of this bar magnet, that magnetic length of the bar magnet is 2L. The magnetic length of this bar magnet is 2L. Now the force acting due to the magnetic field at north pole and south pole make this whole bar magnet to move. Okay, that means the force acting at north pole is small m into b, where m is the magnetic pole strength of north pole, and there is also a force acting at south pole. Okay, force acting on south pole, and the magnitude of this force is m into b, because the magnetic strength of south pole is also equal as north pole, but the direction is opposite. That's why this two forces, these two forces try to move this bar magnet along magnetic field. Okay, now if the angle is theta, if there is an angle of theta, this one is theta. Now what is the torque? What is the torque? The torque is force acting on either pole into the perpendicular distance into perpendicular distance. Okay, that means F into the perpendicular distance is n into a. The perpendicular distance is n into a. And if you see in triangle NSA, in triangle NAS, then if we apply the value of formula of sine theta, then sine theta will be perpendicular upon hypotenuse. What is the perpendicular? The perpendicular value is a and n. Okay, the an is the perpendicular upon the hypotenuse is Sn. Okay, Sn. And what is the value of Sn? The value of Sn is 2L. We already mentioned. Okay, that means sine theta equals to an upon L. Okay, an upon 2L. That means from here we can also write an as 2L sine theta. 2L sine theta. Okay, so this is the value of an. Now put this value at this equation, then our torque becomes as the value of force on north pole is m into small m into b, and the value of Na is 2L sine theta. 2L sine theta. Now if you remember that the magnetic dipole moment, which is capital M, equals to small m into 2L. We already discussed about it. Okay, now put this thing in this equation like small m and 2l become as capital M, which is magnetic dipole moment, and tau become m into b sin theta. Okay, so this is your formula of torque on a bar magnet which is placed in a uniform magnetic field. The condition is this bar magnet placed in a uniform magnetic field. Okay, I hope you understand. We discuss next topic as what is the magnetic field in terms of capital T, and what is the capital T? Capital T is the time period. Okay, when a compass or needle or as a bar magnet when placed in a uniform magnetic field and having an angle theta, then what is the magnetic field at compass needle in respect of time period. Okay, now our next topic is measuring magnetic field. Measuring magnetic field using a compass needle. Okay, now imagine this is a uniform magnetic field. Okay, there is a uniform magnetic field where a compass needle is placed. Okay, this is the compass needle. Okay, now if you see that this compass needle make theta degree angle, this compass needle make theta degree angle with this uniform magnetic field. Okay, with this uniform magnetic field, that means this magnetic field apply a torque on a compass needle. Okay, so what is the value of torque? The value of torque, already mentioned that in previous topic, m into b into sin theta. This is the value of torque due to magnetic field on this compass needle. Okay, now in this topic we discuss about restoring torque. What is the restoring torque? Restoring torque is the opposite torque of deflection torque. Okay, that's why if we call restoring torque, if we denote tau as restoring torque, that means tau is also written as, can be also written as minus, with minus sign, m into b and sin theta. Okay, so this is equation number 1. Okay, this is equation number 1. Now recall a general formula of torque, which is, what the general formula of torque? The torque general formula is moment of inertia multiplied with angular acceleration. Okay, this is also the formula of torque. We use several different formula to calculate our magnetic field. So you know that tau is also equals to I into alpha, where I is moment of inertia of needle. Okay, moment of inertia of needle, and alpha is angular acceleration. Now these two equation are same for torque. That means if we equal equation number with equation number second, then we get minus mb sin theta equals to I alpha. Okay, minus mb sin theta equals to I alpha. If now the second case is if theta is very small, that means sin theta will be equal as theta, because if we put theta equals to 0, then sin 0 is 0. That's why we don't know about the value of theta. That's why if the theta is very small, that means sin theta equals to theta. So we can also written this equation. As minus mb minus mb theta equals to I and alpha. Okay, now recall what is the time period in SHM. Okay, because due to torque in uniform magnetic field, this needle rotates in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction according to direction of magnetic field, and the needle movement is periodic, because according to torque this needle moves periodically, and if anything or any particle moves periodically, then it is said to be a simple harmonic motion. Okay, it is said to be as simple harmonic motion. And you know that the time period in simple harmonic motion is 2 pi under root theta upon alpha. Okay, 2 pi under root theta upon alpha. And from this equation we can calculate the ratio between theta and alpha. Okay, the ratio between theta and alpha, the ratio of theta and alpha. That means theta upon alpha equals to I upon mb. Okay, and this is in minus sign. Now what is the value of it? Put this value in this equation of capital T. Put this value in this equation capital T. Then you get capital T equals to 2 pi under root I upon mb. Okay, we can ignore this minus sign. Okay, because in numericals we can ignore it minus sign. Now if we square in both sides, then we get as t square equals to 4 pi square I upon m into b. That means from this equation we can also say that the capital B is 4 pi square I upon m into t square. Okay, m into t square. So this is your magnetic field formula in respect to time period of compass needle. Okay, and this formula is used when a particle or when a magnetic dipole, okay, rotates in simple harmonic motion. Okay, then this formula is used. Okay, so this is your magnetic field formula. We can also assume this needle as bar magnet or solenoid. Okay, because we know that solenoid act as a bar magnet. Okay, so we can also assume this needle as bar magnet or solenoid. Now we discuss our next topic, potential energy. Potential energy of magnetic dipole. Of magnetic dipole. Potential energy of a magnetic dipole in magnetic field. In magnetic field. Okay. Now, what is the potential energy means? Okay. The energy possessed by anything due to its position is called potential energy. Okay. So, potential energy of magnetic dipole is the energy possessed by magnetic dipole due to its particular position in uniform magnetic field. Okay. So, you can also write it as potential energy of magnetic dipole. Magnetic dipole. Potential energy of magnetic dipole is the energy possessed by magnetic dipole due to its particular position in magnetic field. Now this is theoretical answer. Okay, this is the theoretical answer. When we discuss potential energy of magnetic dipole in terms of mathematical way, then the definition is different. And what is that definition is potential energy is the work done. Okay, potential energy of magnetic dipole. Potential energy of magnetic dipole is the work done. Potential energy of magnetic dipole is the work done in dipole to work done in dipole against the torque on it. Okay, so if any magnetic dipole or needle or solenoid placed in a magnetic field having an angle theta, so obviously that magnetic field produce a torque on that bar magnet or needle or solenoid. Okay, so when we apply our work against that torque, then that work is known as potential energy of magnetic dipole in magnetic field. Okay, I hope you understand. That means if we say this statement as, let dW is a small work done in rotating the dipole through a small angle d theta against the rotating torque. Okay, we assume here the work done is dW due to the rotating the dipole against the torque. Okay, and the angle we rotate against the torque is d theta. That means that dW equals to tau into d theta. Okay, this is our small work done on dipole when we move that dipole against the torque and by which angle? D theta angle. Okay, we can also say that this is our small potential energy, that means du, okay, or delta u. That means this is small work done, and if we talk about total work done on that dipole, then we have to integrate this value from theta 1 to theta 2. We assume we rotate our dipole from theta 1 to theta 2, then the total work done is integrate, we can calculate the total work done to, by integrating this term from theta 1 to theta 2. That means the W equals to integrating theta 1 from theta 1 to theta 2 dW. Okay, dW. That means it can also written as W equals to integration of theta 1 theta 2 tau into d theta. Okay, tau into d theta. What is the value of tau? The value of tau is m into b sin theta. The value of tau is, you know that, m into b sin theta and d theta. Okay, now these are constant. That means we can take it out. That means W equals to m into b integration of sin theta and d theta. That means if we integrate sin theta, we get minus cos theta. Okay, minus cos theta. That means minus mb cos theta is theta 2 and theta 1. Now what we get? The value of W, or we can also say that the work done is equal as potential energy. That means U equals to W equals to minus mb, okay, cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Okay, so this is the final equation of potential energy. Okay, so this is the final equation of potential energy with cos theta 2 and cos theta 1 as a factor. Now if we put theta 1 as 90 degree and theta 2 equals to theta, if we put if theta 1 is 90 degree and theta 2 equals to theta, then our equation become as U equals to minus mb cos theta. Okay, minus mb cos theta. So this is our equation of potential energy. Okay, this is our equation of potential energy of magnetic dipole in a magnetic field. Now there is a three case. The one case is when theta is 0 degree. Okay, when theta is 90 degree. When theta is 90 degree, you know that cos 90 equals to 0. That means at that time the potential energy is 0. Okay. The second case is when the angle or theta equals to 0 degree. That means at that time the potential energy is minimum because cos 0 is 1. That means U equals to minus m into b. That means at this time our potential energy of magnetic dipole is minimum. Okay, this is the minimum potential energy. The third case is when theta equals to 180 degree. Okay, when we put theta equals to 180 degree, then we get our potential energy maximum. That means U equals to m into b. Okay, there is a no negative sign because cos 180 is minus 1. Okay, that's why we get our maximum potential energy at theta equals to 180 degree. Please watch carefully because from these sections numericals asking by examiners. Okay, so I hope you understand this. Our next topic is Gauss law of magnetism. Okay, we already studied Gauss law of electrostatics. Okay, now we discuss Gauss law of magnetism. Gauss law of magnetism. So Gauss says that the net magnetic field through any closed surface is always zero. Okay, the net magnetic flux through any closed surface is always zero. The net magnetic flux according to Gauss law net magnetic flux through any closed surface is always zero. So this is the statement of Gaussian law. Okay, we can also represent this statement in mathematical way, that summation of phi, okay, phi the total magnetic flux, that means phi b equals to 0. Okay, we can simply say that phi b equals to 0. That means now our second task is to deify or to derivation of this Gaussian law. Okay, to derivate this Gaussian law, we draw a magnetic field and a surface. Okay, so first of all we draw a magnetic field and a surface to represent this in mathematical way. If this is the magnetic field, uniform magnetic field, okay, B, and there is a surface, and we take a unit vector area from this surface. Okay, this is surface S and this is uniform magnetic field B, and we take a unit vector area, that means delta S. Okay, and the direction and the unit vector area delta S represented as m cap. Okay, this makes theta angle with magnetic field B. Okay, now first of all you have to mention, consider a small vector area on surface S. Okay, consider a small vector area in surface S. Okay, in surface S. In surface S. So according to Gaussian law, according to Gauss law, the magnetic flux from this unit, this vector area is d phi. Okay, d phi or phi b equals to b into ds. Okay, b into ds, because this is very small area. Okay, so the magnetic flux through this unit vector area is b dot ds. Okay, and the value of this is 0, if we sum all this kind of small area, if we sum these all kind of small area, we get, if we sum all small vector area like that, then our phi b becomes, this is delta phi b. This is due to small unit area, that's why we represent phi b as delta phi b. That means delta represent very small amount of flux. Okay, that means when we sum these kind all small area in that surface, then we get our phi b as summation of b dot ds. Okay, summation of b dot ds. Okay, and here the surface is all and the value of this is 0, and we can also represent this in the manner phi b equals to integration of total surface b dot ds, and this will also equals to 0. So these are the representation of Gaussian law of magnetism. This is the representation of Gaussian law of magnetism. Okay, you can write your whole magnetic flux in the surface like this and also like this. The ds also a vector quantity, that's why we represent ds as vector form. Okay, because ds also has a direction. Okay, now recall your Gaussian law of electrostatics, which says that phi equals to E dot ds equals to mu naught upon q upon mu naught. So this was the Gaussian law of electrostatics. Now, what things we can estimate from Gaussian law of magnetism? Because the total flux from any closed surface is 0, that means in magnetism there is a no concept of monopole. Okay, why there is a no concept of monopole? Because in electrostatics we can say that the magnetic flux through a closed surface is q by epsilon naught, and it will be 0 when there is a opposite charge. When there is a opposite charge, that means plus q and minus q. When in closed surface the dipole charge in opposite nature, then we get our electric flux as 0. That means we already get our magnetic flux through closed surface is as 0. That means we can say that there is also a opposite nature dipole. A dipole has opposite nature pole strength. That means a pole has north and a pole has south. So that there is no way to divide this magnet as monopole. Okay, so this is the biggest thing which comes from Gaussian law of magnetism, that there is a no concept in magnetism of monopole. There is always a dipole